I chose journalism was because of Mr. Kowski. In my senior year of high school, I realized that writing is something that I like to do, and I see it as something that comes natural to me. And it wasn't natural at first, but it was just something that became easy. So I felt like LDC makes things easier for students to understand and comprehend.
So in the past, it was thought that English teachers were solely responsible for teaching reading and writing, but with the new Common Core, the expectation is that all content areas teach reading and writing, and that's in order to prepare our students for college.
Oftentimes teachers get very siloed in their own content, but writing sort of cuts across all content areas. And so that was the reason why we chose LDC. A lot of our kids came in not proficient writers. They were well below grade level, and by the time they left, they were ready for college and beyond. We started with a small cohort. We started with our 9th grade and got everybody on board. Everybody made a commitment at the very beginning that our ultimate end goal was we would do a paper a trimester and that we would all work with similar tools, and then we saw what happened. And our results sort of spoke for themselves. We decided this was a really powerful tool that we were going to use, and so we continued to use it.
What I like about LDC is how it breaks down each and every single aspect of writing. So it doesn't just focus on one area, it focuses on all the areas. There was like a template, there was a layout, there was a guideline for us to follow. And I don't know, I like to be organized, and so that way, the way LDC is so organized and so properly structured, like that was very helpful for me personally.
You can talk about writing, you can show writing, you can model writing, but at the end of the day, if the kids aren't actually doing the writing every day, all the time, in all their content classes, you'll never get them college ready.
Once I got into college, of course we had to write a lot of college essays, and I already had that template, that guideline, so that I never really needed that much help. I got A's in all of them. Like my professor was the one that came to me and she was like, "Where did you go to school?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I went to a charter school in the Bronx." And she was really surprised because there's a stigma against the Bronx that if you come out of there, it's not that great, but I proved that wrong.
I just understood that we really needed some sort of unifying professional development strategy, and writing was an area that students really needed to focus on in order to be college ready.
I feel like LDC is like a blueprint to everything because writing is everywhere, reading is everywhere. So in every course you take, you're always going to have a piece of writing in front of you that you need to be able to read and comprehend.
Students usually think that whatever they're doing in your class is limited to that classroom, and once you make them aware that you're communicating with other teachers and teachers are letting you know how they're doing in other classes, it's something that kind of throws them off. They're like, whoa, how do you know what I'm writing in English? And then it throws them off even more when you tell them, well, what you're doing in science sort of connects to what we're doing in social studies. So I think it's very important for teachers to maintain open communication so that we can help them reach the next level. And LDC provides this.
We used LDC across social studies, English, science, and math the first year. We set up a calendar so that every 2 weeks, different departments would implement an LDC task so that students wouldn't be too overwhelmed with that type of intensive writing.
When an ELA teacher might be talking to a science teacher at a team meeting about a kid's ability to create a claim and have good reasoning around that claim, folks understood what that meant. I think oftentimes in other schools where there is no unifying sort of writing rubric, some people call it a thesis, some people call it a main idea, some people call it a claim, and you sort of don't understand what the other person is saying. You think you do, but they're not talking about the same thing.
Our first cohort of children, we had, I believe, about a 90% graduation rate, and about 90% went to college as well. By having all teachers be on the same page, that really prepared our students for these, amazing colleges that they got into.